Glenmoriston. Glenmoriston is a river glen in the Scottish Highlands that runs from Loch Ness at the village of Invermoriston, westwards to Loch Cluanie, where it meets with Glen Shiel. The A887 and A87 roads pass through Glen Moriston. The glen is dominated by the River Moriston, which in Gaelic might mean River of the Waterfalls. The river is a big attraction for fishers, but also for bird watchers who come to see osprey and eagles fishing on the river. The river crashes over waterfalls at Invermoriston into Loch Ness, passing under an original Thomas Telford bridge, built in 1813. About 5 miles along the glen from Invermoriston is Loch Dundragon, Dundragon being of Gaelic origin and meaning dragon whore. Here the natural force of the river is tapped through a hydroelectric dam, which supplies power to the area. Water is let out of the dam on Tuesdays, making it a popular attraction for whitewater rafting and canoeing. After a feasibility study in Glenafric, wild boar were reintroduced by the charity Trees for Life to a large fenced area of the Dundragon estate in November 2009. Glen Moriston. Footprints. Not far east of Torgoyle Bridge are the Glen Moriston footprints. For the bridge, head towards Invermoriston. About a quarter of a mile beyond a cluster of houses on the right is a short stone wall on the right where the verge widens enough to park a car. Opposite this is a small gate and a path leading in about 30 yards to a stone cairn. Immediately behind this are 2 footprints, bare patches of earth about the size and shape of footprints. They are said to be the footprints of Finlay Munro, otherwise known as the Highland Evangelist, a native of Tain. After a productive ministry on the island of Lewis, he made a tour of the southern Highlands, during which he preached in Glen Moriston in 1827. His sermon on the text, "Prepare to meet thy God, O Israel," was generally well received, but some Catholics from Glengarry heckled him, calling him a cheat and a liar. Munro is supposed to have closed his Bible and retorted that the ground on which he stood would bear witness to the truth of what he said until the day of judgment comes. Thus the marks on the ground are said to be his footprints, where nothing will grow. Other history. The glen is also steeped in Jacobite history. After the Battle of Culloden in 1746, the pretender to the Scottish throne, Bonnie Prince Charlie, escaped to safety through Glen Moriston. Here the prince took refuge in a cave up in the hills, where the River Doe flows down into the glen. He was famously protected by the 7 men of Glen Moriston, in spite of a £30,000 reward. By the side of the road is Roderick Mackenzie's cairn, a tribute to a loyal supporter of the Stuart prince who pretended to be Charlie and allowed himself to be captured and killed by the soldiers, pursuing the young pretender, giving the real man time to escape to safety. Glen Moriston is commonly misspelled as Glenmoriston, especially in history books. Census data. Census data from 2001 is applied to the IV63-7 postcode district, population 264. Born in England 37%. Born in Scotland 55%. Retired 24.4%. Average age 45.6. Percentage of households with children 22%. Percentage of children 17.5%. In good health 68%. Households as secondary holiday homes 58%. Percentage of households rented from council 4.4%. Amount of rented housing decreased 1991 to 2001 50%.